What's going on YouTube? So any way you slice it, the Ford Explorer has been and still is one of the best-selling three-row crossovers in America. Now this of course was just fully redesigned last year, but that still hasn't stopped Ford from making some enhancements to the interior for 2021, as well as a huge price drop across all of the trim levels. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. So of course, as always, we'll start out here with the exterior design. Obviously, you're not going to notice any changes for 2021 here because it was redesigned just last year. Now, across all of the different trim levels, you basically have different fascias for each one of them. I'm not going to describe all of them. I'll just put in some pictures because it's easier to visualize when you actually see it. But here with this ST specifically, this gives you the dark black mesh grille, and also the Explorer branding that runs across the hood here. Now, coming over here to your headlights, Ford does nicely include full LED headlights across all the trim levels, with the design looking a little bit different here with the ST and the Platinum trim level. And then down below that we have LED fog lights, and these are standard on the XLT 202A and above. Now squatting down here at your wheels, just like the grills, you have a wide variety of them depending on the trim level. So you start out with 18-inch wheels for your XLT and your base model. Then you have 20-inch wheels on the Limited and above. We have the ST's 20-inch wheels, but you can also get 21s if you prefer. And new for 2021 is that the high-performance brake pads are now standard on the ST trim level. Then moving up here to your mirrors, they are always heated and they always have blind spot monitoring. You add power folding if you go for the Limited and above, and then you add auto dimming if you go for the ST or the Platinum trim.
All right, so walking around to the Explorer's rear design, this is a pretty handsome area of this vehicle because you do have that signature rear drive proportions with this new model, so it kind of looks distinct from the rest of the segment. Now, as far as this ST, it's going to be as sporty as you can get any Explorer. So this piece right here is going to be fully blacked out. It would be chrome on the other trims. As far as your taillights, these are going to be exactly the same. So it's partially LED with the brake light portion being LED. We have ST branding. And then finally dropping down to the diffuser, this is another area where you're going to see a pretty big difference. It's going to be fully blacked out on the ST, and you're also going to have quad exhaust pipes if you go for the ST or the Platinum. Now, Ford does a really good job with their safety system since the Ford Co-Pilot 360 package is standard across the Explorer lineup. That'll be the vast majority of safety systems that you're looking for, including forward emergency braking and lane keeping assist. And if you go for the Limited trims and higher, that will also throw in adaptive cruise control. Well, anyway, guys, that sums up the sporty exterior design of this Explorer ST. So now let's go ahead and hop on the inside where I know Ford has done some 2021 improvements. But before we do that, hit that subscribe button down below.
So on the Ford Explorer, Ford does nicely include a smart entry system on all but the base trim level and remote start on the XLT with the 202A and above. And of course, as you can see with this ST model, we have special ST branding on the fob. Now getting inside the vehicle itself, just reach behind the handle since there is a sensor. Alright, so taking a look inside of this cabin. Of course, since the Explorer was just fully redesigned last year, you're not going to notice any huge changes to the interior. But like I mentioned earlier, there are some enhancements to kind of class up the cabin. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about your interior material and color options. So the XLT, that's going to come standard with cloth seating. The Limited and the ST come standard with real leather seating. And then the Platinum comes standard with leather with the special diamond quilting. Then as far as your color options, you have ebony or sandstone options for the vast majority of trim levels. The ST comes in ebony only, and then the Platinum comes with your choice of ebony or light sandstone. Now turning over here to your door trim, you will see nice materials reflected up here. So we have a leatherette trim that runs across basically the entire door trim with the white color contrast stitching detail. It is soft touch along the top, and then we have some metal speaker grills through here, which are really nice. I do want to point out one of our interior enhancements is we have piano black trim over here on the door trim, new for 2021, and then all 4 of your windows will be one touch automatic. You will additionally find 3-person memory seating on the Limited and higher. Now, as far as the seats, we have the 10-way power adjusting seats with 4-way lumbar support. And then, like I already mentioned, here on the ST, you do have real leather seating, again in this ebony color. Lots of different details on here, stitching. We have ST embroidered in here, as well as perforation in the middle. Now, of course, the trim level you choose does have a difference as far as your interior materials are concerned. But like I said, most of the models do get an interior enhancement for 2021. So across the upper dash, most models will have a soft touch plastic. However, if you choose the Platinum model, it will be covered in a leatherette. Down below on this ST model, we have a faux carbon fiber trim. And then right here in the middle, this is where you'll notice the interior enhancement, which is basically adding piano black plastic to various areas of the interior for the Limited, ST, and Platinum models to make them look a little bit more classy this year. So that's down here, right here, and on the door trim like I already mentioned. Now, as far as how everything fits together, it is fit together very nicely. Now to start up, all but the very base model, you have standard push button start. So when the car fires up, you will be greeted with a 12.3-inch reconfigurable gauge cluster if you choose the ST or the Platinum. So this is Ford's latest setup here, and as you can see, very vivid and nice looking. Of course, you can use the steering wheel mounted buttons to cycle through various kinds of information and change the display settings themselves. And then coming back to the steering wheel, as you can also see, we have a special ST steering wheel with the ST branding. It is flat bottom and also has a really nice and thick rim. Now, as far as the other models, you will have nice leather wrapping on all but the base model. And it will be power tilt and telescoping on the Limited and above, plus also throwing in the heating. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about interior storage, because that's one area that the Explorer performs very strongly in. So we'll open up the center console here. You start out with a little tray, which you can remove and set to the side. And then once inside the center console here, plenty of space, nice felt lining down at the bottom, as well as a 12-volt outlet inside. And we'll grab out our coupons. As you can tell, they're going to fit in here very easily, just with a small fold in half. Now, there's a lot more storage inside the cabin. One of the things we have is this wireless phone charging pad, which kind of sets vertically here, so you can charge your phone but also not take up all that much space. We have our 2 large cup holders, a little storage area right there. And if we pop this open, you'll notice a really nice and deep bin, useful for storing masks here in 2020 or in other years, just a cell phone. We also have a USB Type-C and a 12-volt outlet inside. Now, part of the reason we can have these really nice and deep storage bins is because we have an electronic shifter like what you find in the Expedition. So obviously for drive, you're just going to twist over to the D. You can press the M if you want to do some manual shifting. And Ford does include paddle shifters on all the trims, not just this ST. Then we go into reverse. On the Limited and above, this is where you'll find the 360-degree camera system. So as you can see, you've got both your top view as well as your traditional view, and you have active trajectory. I am happy to find that parking sensors are included on even the base model. And then back behind the shifter, you have your electronic parking brake as well as your brake hold function. You also have your drive mode controller back here and your button to defeat the auto start stop system, and if equipped, you have the automatic parallel and perpendicular parking system. Okay, so now let's jump on up here to our climate controls. So Ford does nicely include a standard 3-zone automatic setup across all the models, and operation here is super simple. Just make your adjustments with these big physical buttons, or you can also do it in the display if you prefer. Now off to the side here, you're going to find heated seats, which are new for 2020, included on the XLT trim level as standard equipment. And then if you want ventilation, you're going to have to get the limited trim level, Platinum or ST. And then up above that, we have the volume control. So as far as your sound systems are concerned, you have several different ones. We actually have the top end system, the 14-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is optional on ST and Platinum. So we'll go ahead and take a sample of that now. Wow, so the sound quality of this system is definitely amazing. Okay, so now that brings us up here to our sync display. Obviously, as you can tell, we've got the optional display by the kind of strange orientation. This is a 10.1-inch vertically oriented display, optional on the ST and the Platinum. Now the standard screen, that's going to be a conventionally mounted 8-inch display. So beyond the orientation difference, the actual software itself is not super different. You do have extra abilities like the split screen view here, and the layout is a little bit different, but overall you have the same features such as standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay, plus navigation is optional on the XLT and standard on the Limited and above. And up above that we have an auto dimming mirror. This is also included on the Limited and above. And your HomeLink universal remotes are mounted right here in the visor. And then panning over here, we have a large panoramic sunroof. On this ST, that's optional for $1,650, but it is standard on the Platinum trim level.
Now, of course, this is a family-focused vehicle, so this rear seat area is actually very important for this Explorer. Now, as far as the space itself, you're going to come in at 39 inches of rear legroom, 41 inches of rear headroom, which just places it right on par with that of its main rivals. So behind rear seating position, I'm looking at probably 4 or 5 inches of rear legroom. My feet can easily slide up underneath the seat, so lots and lots of space and comfort. Now, you're probably also noticing the seats themselves. It's actually an interesting area for the Explorer since captain's chairs are standard on all of the models, and you can choose to option on bench and seat. Because captain's chairs are standard equipment on all of the trim levels, and on the XLT and the Platinum you can option on for bench seating. Now, as far as the features here in the center, we're also going to have our own climate controls, which is quite nice. Dropping down, we're also going to have 2-stage heated rear seats, standard on the Limited trims and higher. In addition, we have a USB Type-C, a smart charging USB, and a household outlet, and then a little storage cubby below that. And then finally, off to the side, we do have our rear window sunshades as well as the vents. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the third row of this Explorer. So in order to get back here, Ford has made it super easy. So all you have to do is locate this little button, push it once, and it does fold it forward and allow you to slide it right out of the way. So getting back here, it is a little bit more challenging than some of the rivals, but it's not too bad overall. And as far as the space, you're going to see very similar space figures as you would to the competition. It's going to come in at 32 inches of rear legroom, and there's also plenty of headroom back here. As you can see, the thigh support, it's okay. It's not the best in the class, but it's also certainly not the worst, and my feet do have room to slide up underneath the seat. So I'm really actually pretty pleasantly surprised by this. Now, as far as the features, we do have cup holders on the bottom here, as well as our own vents. Now walking up to your tailgate, you are going to have a Power One included on the vast majority of Explorers. And if you go for the limited trim or higher, it's also going to be hands-free. So just wave your foot under the bumper to open it up. Now as far as the space itself, this is going to be an area where this vehicle is very impressive since it is going to come in as larger than the Honda Pilot as well as the Toyota Highlander. You're going to have 18 cubic feet behind the third row seats. If you fold them, it's going to be 48 cubic feet. And if you fold all the seats, it's going to go to a maximum of 88 cubic feet. So certainly a lot of space for you and all of your family. And as far as how they finished it, we do have a really nice carpeting along the floor. There's additional storage up underneath. We also have cubbies on either side. And then off to the side, we have a 12-volt outlet, as well as our buttons to power fold the third row. So this is a feature that you really don't see all that common on vehicles in this class, and you do have a power folding third row, and it's also one touch, which I'm a really big fan of. Something, there's a big worm on me. Get it off. Okay.
The camera was recording your fit, by the way.
Now the passenger seat over here on this Explorer is going to be power adjusting since we do have a very high trim level. And then in front of the passenger, you do also have a really good sized glove box. It's not felt lined or anything, but it is dampened, and it's also quite large, so I'm very impressed. We can certainly fit a lot of coupons in here, so I'm very happy about that. Now up top, we do have a sun visor. It does have LED lighting as well as a mirror, and you can also detach it and extend. Wow.
Well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising. So this is our first time behind the wheel of the ST version of this new Explorer. And yeah, performance, big difference from the standard engine, which, you know, it's no slacker, but this is another 100 horsepower over top of that. So this has the 3-liter twin turbo with 400 horsepower, 415 pound-feet of torque in the ST version. If you choose the Platinum, you do take a little bit of a hit on power, but it's still quite powerful as well.
And this is really a unique option for this segment of vehicle. You're not going to get a 400 horsepower Highlander or Honda Pilot. So if you're looking for that, this is really one of your only options to get a 3-row in this segment with that much power. Now as far as the base engine, that's going to be a 2.3-liter turbo 4-cylinder. That's going to have 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, which really is healthy numbers for the class, even with the base engine.
You can also tell differences with the ST from the steering wheel as well. The handling definitely changes from the standard model. A lot more dialed in, a lot heavier, really fast responding. You can just kind of see how quickly it responds when you go around the corners. It also goes around the corners a little bit flatter. But every Explorer does benefit from that switch to the rear drive platform, which once again is one of those things that the competitors don't really offer at all. That's crazy. This pull is so strong. That was up a steep hill.
Yeah.
Wow. This will put a smile on your face. This really will.
Wow. Now, you may be curious as to how this vehicle is going to ride just going down a highway. Now that we've calmed down from that acceleration or whatnot, you know, this is a family vehicle, so we'll talk about this. Now, as far as the ride quality, I think Ford has done a really good job. We've been in this Explorer quite a few times at this point, and I have no complaints with this ride quality. It's very comfortable, and very much in line with the competition. I will get a sound sample here going 60 miles per hour so we can compare. It looks like we're going to be sitting at 56.5 decibels, which that's a very good sound reading. We are going about 5 miles an hour faster than some of the typical measurements, and I believe the Highlander was around 54, so you're looking at very class competitive numbers, maybe just a touch louder though.
Not really sensing any penalty with the ride for the ST. Maybe just a tiny bit stiffer than the limited trim level that we drove, but nothing significant. So I shifted into the sport mode. It feels even more aggressive, even faster. I mean, wow. It pulls so hard, like the front like comes up and everything. Yeah, it feels just like the Aviator, which has the same engine. You know, just really, really powerful stuff. Now we do have a 10-speed automatic on board. You'll notice when we went into the sport mode, it does shift differently, firmer, more aggressive, and the gearing keeps it, you know, in a lower gear, so it's ready to go as quick as possible.
Now we will go ahead and mention our airball and slam dunk for today, and that power that you're just witnessing again and again, and here is clearly going to be today's slam dunk, because not only is it a lot of power and it's enough to put a smile on your face, but it's also very unique for this class of vehicle. This is, like I mentioned at the very beginning, one of the only vehicles in this segment that you can get something with that much power, so it's good that Ford is giving you that option.
And as far as our airball, that's going to be some of the cabin treatments in here are a little bit on the order cheap. Now I do like what they did for 2021. They did improve it with the extra piano black trim, but still for a price tag that in some cases is $60,000 or more dollars, you're kind of in luxury car territory, so it would have been nice to add a little bit more luxury inside this cabin. And let's go ahead and talk about that pricing, because that's one of the things that's bigly different about the Explorer for 2021.
Yeah, so you're actually going to see a huge price drop across most of the trim levels, some more than others, but price drops across the entire board. So the base one's going to start at $32,225, XLT $34,000, Limited $44,710, and I want to point out that the Limited in particular has a almost $3,700 price drop over 2020. Then if you go for the ST, that's $52,605, down $2,100. The Platinum $54,480, down almost $3,800. So that is very, very rare to see that in a model year changes to reduce the price by that much, and I'm super glad Ford did, because I thought it was a little bit too expensive before, and in our past reviews we complained about that. Now this ST does have a few options on it that brings with the destination charge of $1,240, this one to $56,990, so just a touch under $57,000 for this one. And for the fuel economy, the base 2.3 liter 4-cylinder is going to come in at 21 city, 28 highway, 24 combined. If you add all-wheel drive to that, it's going to be rated 23 combined. And then if you go for the this engine right here, it's going to drop quite a bit down to 20 combined.
So overall, this ST Explorer, pretty impressive. The power is really the biggest thing, because it's just extremely impressive every time you put your foot on the gas, just how much power you have at your disposal. But also just in general, the performance upgrades of the ST, you do get, you know, better handling, stuff like that, but you're not sacrificing comfort. At the end of the day, I think the biggest thing with the ST is you have a lot more power, a lot, you know, different looks on the outside, but you still have a really nice family experience overall.
Well guys, we've enjoyed watching this in-depth review of the 2021 Ford Explorer ST. If you made it this far in the video, don't lie to me, I know you enjoyed watching, so be sure to smash that subscribe button down below. All it's going to do is give you notifications on all of our most recent content, and it is free, let me mind you. Now anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.